In this video, I'm going to be testing out the data speeds from Visible, Boost Mobile, and Tello at a convention with over 100,000 people. So I want to know what were some of the data speed results from Visible, Tello, and Boost Mobile at a big convention. So I took the train all the way down from Los Angeles to San Diego to the San Diego Convention Center for this year's San Diego Comic-Con International event. And here was my testing criteria that I set for myself. It has to be a prepaid carrier or MVNO using Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile towers, plans that have lower prioritizations, no plans that have premium data, so an example, Visible Plus. And I will be testing this on my iPhone 12 mini with dual SIM capabilities, a physical SIM and an eSIM slot. So here's just a little disclaimer. I did not get a chance to test every single stop during my trip down from LA to San Diego, and I also did not test on Friday or Sunday at the event. So the very first stop is from Los Angeles to Fullerton, California. And here are the results from LA to Fullerton via the Pacific Surfliner on Amtrak. And I noticed that Tello, which uses the T-Mobile network, performed very well, and in second was Visible. Third came in Boost Mobile on the AT&T network. And the highest speed I got for Tello was around the 196 megabits per second for download. And here are the remaining results from Visible and Boost Mobile via the AT&T network. So the first stop goes to Tello. Next up for the test is San Clemente, California. Now, I gotta say, the results here are a little bit difficult. I actually had troubles performing a speed test. Now, I don't know, was it because where the train stop was just, the signal was just pretty bad. So Visible was the only one that was getting a signal, a better signal to do a speed test, but the speeds weren't that fast. I mean, the fastest I got was about 2 megabits per second for the download speeds, close to 3, but basically Boost Mobile on the AT&T network and Tello on the T-Mobile network just did not want to perform a speed test. I ended up just giving up on those two network while trying to do a speed test, but Visible was the one that was able to give me some sort of data connection just for the download speed. And I had trouble doing the upload speed. Actually, the upload speed was just 0 megabits per second. So the San Clemente test goes to Visible, but barely. Next up, we're going to move from San Clemente to Oceanside. So I was able to actually perform some speed tests in Oceanside compared to when I was in San Clemente. And the network that worked very well in Oceanside was Boost Mobile with the AT&T network. And the fastest speed I got was about the 180 megabits per second for my download speed. And as you can see right here in Visible, I wasn't even able to do a speed test. So Tello comes in at a good second. So if you're in Oceanside via the Amtrak, Boost Mobile on the AT&T network and Tello Mobile are a good choice. So for Oceanside, I'm going to give it to Boost Mobile via the AT&T network because it gives us the fastest speed. So now I'm in San Diego, kind of close by to the convention center, kind of near Santa Fe Depot, the train stop, and I was just heading to my hotel. And once I checked in, tested out the speeds on all 3 different carriers in my hotel, and I gotta say, Boost Mobile via the AT&T network was the one that outperformed Visible and even Tello. Tello, I couldn't even get a 5G connection. I did get it once in a while, but it'll always switch back to LTE. So the fastest network in that region where I was staying was Boost Mobile because I got 176 megabits for my download speeds. And second will be Tello, even though it was only LTE. And unfortunately, on third place, it's Visible. It gave me the slowest speed. For this test, I gotta give it to Boost Mobile via the AT&T network. Before I continue, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the sponsor of this video, Aura. Are you tired of constantly receiving spam phone calls to the point where you don't even answer your phone anymore? I can relate because this is the amount of spam calls that I get. Data brokers are making a fortune selling your information to robocallers, spammers, and others who want to learn more about you, like where you live. Aura can identify data brokers exposing your info and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to, but they make it super hard to do. Let Aura handle it for you. Aura also does so much more to protect you and your family from online threats that you can't see. And it's really easy to set up, so you don't have to download several different apps to get things like parental controls, antivirus, password management, identity theft insurance, and more. They also include a VPN. I actually use Aura's VPN while I was connected to the hotel's Wi-Fi at all times. You get everything at one affordable price. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online so you can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. Don't let people continue to exploit and profit off your personal information. Go to aura.com/techthatdoesn'tbite to start your 2-week free trial. So here we are, Thursday, the very first day of San Diego Comic-Con, and by the time it was already 9:00 a.m., there was already a bunch of people. The lines are already forming, and I gotta say, it already started getting crowded. So I was wondering, how well would these network carriers work in this kind of convention scenario? And here is my test results from Thursday. And surprisingly, I was kind of shocked that Tello, even though it's been coming in second place for me, it was actually the one that worked best on Thursday. And coming in after Tello was actually Visible. And then last place will be Boost Mobile via the AT&T network. So it was a very mixed kind of results that I got. And I don't know if it's because I was in a different area of the convention center or just the different times. Even though Tello was the one that worked for me, I actually kept using Boost Mobile's AT&T network because I had unlimited data with that plan, as opposed to Tello where I don't have unlimited data. But for me, on Thursday, Tello was the one that worked the best. So my next testing occurred on Saturday, which is historically the busiest day during San Diego Comic-Con. And I gotta say, it definitely was the busiest day, and I was thinking that all three networks would not work well at all. And here are the test results. And I was even more surprised that all three of them was able to perform some sort of speed test. And actually the fastest speed that I got was on Boost Mobile's via the AT&T network. That was the one that was the fastest. Second would be Tello via the T-Mobile network, and unfortunately Visible came in last for me. The ping time was like 409 milliseconds. That is very, very slow. I was pleasantly surprised. I would think all three of them will have some sort of a issue doing speed tests, but very surprised that Boost Mobile via the AT&T network was the fastest one. So definitely Boost Mobile via the AT&T network on Saturday. So here is my ranking after doing all the testing. Number one, I gotta give it to Boost Mobile via the AT&T network. It's the one with the fastest speed. Second will be Tello via the T-Mobile network. And lastly, it will be Visible. So that's what it's like to use Visible, Boost Mobile, and Tello at a convention with over 100,000 people. And again, I was kind of pleasantly surprised at the results that I got. In fact, the two lines that I use most often during San Diego Comic-Con was Tello and Boost Mobile. I just turned off Visible because that was the one that was the slowest and I just couldn't use it. But what did you think of the results? Were you at the event? Did you have some different results? What has been your experience when you go to a big event with one of these three carriers? Leave your comments below. If you want to check out my review on Boost Mobile, you can check out that video right here. If you want to check out Visible's review, you can check it out right here. And I also have a video on Tello right here.